Welcome to The Fight on Matrix Midwest with Randy Carricker and company.
Hi kids, welcome to the program. Great to have you with us. That's Andrew Rogers. I'm Randy Carricker, and what a time in St. Louis sports. We got it going, don't we?
A time maybe for the team that you're repping, maybe not for the team I'm repping.
The Billikens are the hottest thing going. We'll tell you what in sports has made us really mad over the years, and today we have the fight, and we'll try to extend the winning streak to
19.
Working on it, so we'll see if we can keep that going. But we'll get things started with our quick hits. And how about the Billikens? Down by 10 at halftime to George Washington, but they rallied for an impressive win at Chaifetz Arena. Robbie Avila hitting a game-winning three-pointer with 3 seconds left. Just another example of the resolve that this team has and the resiliency that this team has. You know, a lot of times when you have a team that hasn't been together a lot, and obviously this team hasn't, sometimes things will crumble when they face adversity for the first time. Well, they faced adversity on Tuesday night with the game against George Washington, and they overcame that adversity. It's amazing to watch and see how they play, and you wonder how good they can be. Dayton, the biggest rival in town Friday, at a sold-out Chaifetz, and I think that'll be a bellwether game for the Billikens.
This is a resilient group. You hit that right on the head. This might not have been even the first time they faced resiliency, because if you think about it, the loss against Stanford was probably that, except they didn't know how to face it at that time because the momentum was swaying the Cardinal direction. Now SLU knows how to stare adversity in the face, and that's just what makes them so dangerous. This is a tournament team. George Washington is also a team that could easily win the Atlantic 10. They're the third best. They're 68th in KenPom. They're a really good school. It's hard to win on the road, though, and protecting home court was important for SLU in this case, especially now that they're in that quad one range. This was a huge victory for them.
And this note from Rob Reinhardt, who's a New York journalist. He says, St. Louis University approached the Big East last week with a proposal for joining the conference, which was swiftly denied, per sources. I'm told members of the Big East leadership, along with consultants from the NCAA, told SLU that they're not yet primed to compete at a high major level with excellent legacy programs like DePaul and Xavier. Well, they haven't been very consistent at SLU for a long time. Josh Schertz gets another year like this, and maybe things will change.
Yeah, let me tell you this, too. DePaul hasn't been very consistent since way back when. So if you look at the stretch of the last 40 years, was DePaul a team that you just ran to go watch college basketball games? If we're going to talk about just a team that has a legacy, then DePaul don't need to be a part of that conversation anymore.
But Reinhardt's trying to defend DePaul. All he needs to say is they're in Chicago. They're in the number 3 market. You don't have to worry about their record. The difference is that DePaul's in a big market, and they can draw eyeballs if they ever do get good.
I'll tell you what, too. Thank you for bringing up Chicago, because what was another piece of that report? Oh, St. Louis is too dangerous of a place to have another Big East school. Chicago is way more dangerous than St. Louis.
That's a good point. Meanwhile, ESPN reported that Bill Belichick didn't get enough support to be a first ballot finalist for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Belichick was the head coach for 6 Super Bowl champions with the Patriots and Tom Brady as his quarterback, and was the Giants' defensive coordinator for 2 Super Bowls with Lawrence Taylor playing for the Giants. But he was the overseer of the Spygate scandal. That cost the Patriots a first-round draft pick and a $500,000 fine after they admitted it. And his winning percentage as a head coach when he didn't have Brady was .451, a worse winning percentage than, among others, Joe Philbin, Lovie Smith, Rex Ryan, Norv Turner, and Jeff Fisher, who also didn't have Tom Brady as their quarterback. I think this is not much ado about nothing, but I think this is being way overblown. I think that if people pay attention, they'll realize that, as you know, I think Bill Belichick is dramatically overrated and is a product of Tom Brady. And hey, you know what? Alex Rodriguez isn't in the Hall of Fame. He cheated. He got caught at it. Rafael Palmeiro, not in the Hall of Fame. He cheated. He got caught at it. Manny Ramirez, not in the Hall of Fame. He got caught. He cheated. If you cheat, that should preclude you from being celebrated.
I want to argue with you. I want to disagree with you. I can't. I can't find a point that I can make to disagree with you as to why Bill Belichick should not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Bill Belichick will be in the Hall of Fame someday. But those that look at it and say, oh man, he was snubbed, and it does seem like he was snubbed. You look at the accolades, 8 Super Bowls, right? 2 as an assistant. You would think right away he should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But everything you just brought up about Tom Brady is the factor to keep in mind. And now I've heard a lot of talking heads too on national media, on local media, talk about how Tom Brady now might not be a first first ballot Hall of Famer because Spygate was brought up, Deflategate was brought up. Here's the deal. Tom Brady was the X factor in every conversation you just made about Bill Belichick. Tom Brady will be a first ballot Hall of Famer whether we like it or not.
And Tom Brady did go to Tampa Bay and win a Super Bowl there, so he proved his worth. I just wonder what these voters are thinking, the people that vote for or vehemently defend Bill Belichick. Do they not concern themselves about the integrity of competition anymore? Is it okay to cheat? And then should every door be open for anybody who cheats to the game? If the door is open now for everybody, why worry? If you're a current NFL player or coach, why worry about cheating?
I'm happy you brought that up because that's the big thing to take away here. I'm just going to say Jim Harbaugh. If you're Jim Harbaugh now with the Chargers and you want to win a Super Bowl and you find a way to cheat to win a Super Bowl, he also won a national championship. You talk about his football legacy. Should that just put him in the Hall of Fame right away as a first ballot guy? No, because you have to take into account the integrity of sports.
Absolutely. But Harbaugh doesn't know a guy if he wants to get going on that same road that Bill Belichick traveled. Duke University reached a resolution with former quarterback Darian Mensah after he failed to uphold his end of a contract. He signed with the Blue Devils to get more money from Miami. In a statement, Duke said, quote, "We are committed to fulfilling all promises and obligations Duke makes to our student athletes when we enter into contractual agreements with them, and we expect the same in return. Enforcing those agreements is a necessary element of ensuring predictability and structure for athletic programs. It is nonetheless a difficult choice to pursue legal action against a student and teammate. For this reason, we sought to resolve the matter fairly and quickly." Mensah sure looks like a punk. Will he be booed wherever he plays with Miami next season on the road?
Oh, I think so. I think for the most part he will be booed, especially if it's against Duke.
Yeah,
and think
no
about this
doubt.
for a moment. Manny Diaz used to be the coach at Miami, so you know there's already some added hatred there for that program when they switched over to Cristobal. But the big thing is, I'd like to know how much money Miami sent to Duke. Because like when you talk about settlement and fairness, you don't release a message like that unless you got a chunk of change in return for a guy like Mensah and what he's able to do.
Well, and also, we're in late January. What does Duke do for a quarterback now? You know, they thought that he was going to be their guy. He completely left them in the lurch. He's just, and I know he's just a kid, but somebody has to be an adult in the room and say, hey, this is not right. What you're doing to these people is not right for your own advancement. Sometimes you got to take a back seat personally so that you don't screw somebody over.
And meanwhile, Miami just looks even better now getting Mensah because they return Malachi Toney, they return Mark Fletcher. That team just went to the national championship with those skill guys, and Mensah can arguably be just as good, if not better, than Carson Beck.
By the way, how did Mensah know that Miami was going to be interested? Do you think there might have been some tampering there?
I don't know I don't even know if we know what the definition of tampering is
Not
anymore.
St. Louis City SC sent one of the biggest names from their inaugural roster to Los Angeles, to the Galaxy, in exchange for cash. City SC announced a move that sends João Klaus to Los Angeles in exchange for $2.375 million, the largest cash trade in City SC history. Klaus is 28. He's from Brazil. He led the team in scoring in each of his 3 seasons with the team, and he recorded the first hat trick in City SC history on June 14th, 2025. The scoring feat came against LA Galaxy. Big loss for St. Louis City SC. I wonder how they're going to get better.
Well, since year one, it's almost felt like St. Louis City has been stuck. You've been molding your roster around the guys that were there from the beginning. So I almost think that this is a good thing for City SC to now start branching out a little bit more and not to say that Klaus was a problem, but just getting some new faces in the building. Now you can reinvest in the roster with a huge chunk of change like that. And you still have Leuven, you still have Toy Shirt, Hartle. I really like Sangbin. I think he can be a really good striker for this team and a creator. So in general, this transition that St. Louis City is going on right now is going to be a good thing.
St. Louis has 3 pro sports teams. The Blues are clearly rebuilding. We're going to talk about them in a moment. The Cardinals are rebuilding, and it looks like City SC is rebuilding. We are in for some rough years in terms of wins and losses in St. Louis. Hopefully, some of these youth movements work out.
Yeah, and it's weird not to see the OGs back on the roster here for St. Louis City, but at least you still have some of the originals here next season, and I think the big one is now just keeping Leuven and seeing him elevate his game.
The Blues' losing streak is at 5 games. Vancouver is unlikely to catch the Blues in the standings, but this Blues group doesn't look like one that's going to put anything together. So finishing 31st out of 32 NHL teams is a distinct possibility. We talked the other day about how the Cardinals will be picked to finish last in their division. City, 13th out of 15 teams in their division. It's been a long time since St. Louis pro sports teams have had it this rough. At least, though, the Blues hopefully will have a great pick. City SC will get a great player out of finishing poorly. And we know the Cardinals already have J.J. Weatherholt and Liam Doyle. So hopefully some of these bad finishes will lead to better things in the future.
Yeah, it's okay to be rough. It's not okay to be rough for a long period of time. So you have to turn the corner faster so that you can have these younger sports fans rooting for winning teams. I mean, I was so fortunate in my childhood to root for teams like the Blues and teams like the Cardinals. They never lost. They always went to the playoffs. Now you're going to start seeing that these kids have to know what losing is like before they win again, but it might be a good thing for these teams too to kind of turn that page.
And I wonder how the Blues diagnose their problems. This is such an awful season for a team that had a great run last year. What's real? Was it what happened last year with the 12-game winning streak and the playoff run against the team that finished with the President's Trophy? Or is it this year where they're close to a last-place team? By the way, Winnipeg, right there with the Blues, won the President's Trophy last year. They're right there at the bottom of the barrel with the Blues, too. Sometimes you never know, but I have trouble figuring out what happened to the St. Louis Blues.
Right, now winless in their last 5, and Shen said after the game, we're finding ways to lose hockey games, and we have to learn how to win them. Don't you think this team knows how to do that by now?
Well, maybe they were absolutely broken by that last game against Winnipeg in the playoffs last year. Maybe they just need to start over. Yeah. Those are your quick hits here in the fight. And later in the show, we're going to have some risky business. We're going to put together a parlay. So we hope you will join us for that. But coming up next, I am going to try to extend my winning streak in the fight.
Welcome to The Fight. In one corner, sitting by in the green room, we have Megamind, the Sultan of Smarts, Randy Carricker, everybody.
Andrew, always good to see you. Thanks for doing another fight. Let's see how we do here.
Hey, you are on a 17-week winning streak, so I think I'm more excited to see you try to go for 18. Before I bring in our challenger, favorite 18 in sports?
Oh, well, it's got to be Peyton Manning, right? And I'm a big Mike Shannon fan, so. But yeah, I think I would go with Peyton.
Not Carlos Martinez?
No, I like the 44 Carlos Martinez more than the 18 Carlos Martinez.
Fair enough. In the opposite corner, we are bringing in our challenger, a graduate from the Harvard of the Midwest, Lindenwood University. Been trying to get him on for a while, and finally, time aligned. TJ, how you doing?
Good. I got a lot of pressure on me. 17-game winning streak. Has anybody ever beaten Randy? Has it been has he lost 2 in a row ever?
He has not. He has not lost a match since the start of the football season.
Wow, yeah, that's saying a lot. All right, all right. I feel confident though, man. I'm locked in today. Had an extra cup of coffee. I'm ready to rock.
All right, Randy, say hello to TJ.
TJ, it's great to have you with us. Thanks for doing this, and thanks for being a part of the show.
Of course, Randy. It's good to see you, man.
Good seeing you.
And now, Randy, go isolate yourself.
Okay.
We don't want to see him anymore, TJ. Just you and me. You might, by the way, have the best setup of any Zoom contestant that we've had.
This whole thing, what are we gonna do? It's fun to have this in my basement. I'll tell you that.
You were built for this moment. You ready to do this?
Let's do it, man.
All right. Question number 1: how many Division I colleges are there where the school name, not mascot, is also a color? Is it 3, 4, or 5?
My Division I college. Let's see. I gotta think this one through. Is there a time limit?
No,
I won't
take
go
your
too
time.
long.
No, go for it.
All right. Not mascots, what color? Man, I am blanking here. Sorry, show me the question one more time.
Question, yeah, I'll reread it for you. How many Division I colleges are there where the school name, not the mascot, is also a color?
Man, I am blanking on this one. I'm just going to go with a safe bet. I'm going to say 3.
3. All right. Question number 2. Who was the last AL MVP to be a switch hitter? Was it Vita Blue, Mickey Mantle, or Mo Vaughn?
I don't know if Mo Vaughn was a switch hitter, and that shows my age because that's before my time. Never heard of Mr. Blue. Mickey Mantle seems too easy. I'm gonna go Mo Vaughn. I don't think he was a switch hitter. I remember him in a backyard baseball injury. That's how I remember Mo Vaughn. Give me Mo Vaughn.
All right, question number 3. Peyton Manning was given the starting quarterback job at the University of Tennessee after an injury to what former professional baseball player? Was it Jamie Moyer, Preston Wilson, or Todd Helton?
These are tough. This is not going to go well for me. I'm between Moyer and Helton. I guess I would go. I'll go Todd Helton.
All righty. And question number 4. The Blues haven't won a lot of games this season, but who currently leads the team in game-winning goals? Is it? Go ahead. You want to go without the options?
Yeah, I see him. I believe it's Justin Falk, if I'm correct. Now, you say game-winning goals.
That's correct.
It's throwing me off a little bit. Oh, man. It's Neighbors or Falk, but let's go Falk. Stay with Falk.
And the tiebreaker, TJ, just in case. So we're doing a closest 2 here. Jacksonville State running back Cam Cook led all rushers in yards this season with how many? And I'm going to give you a hint. If you know what Ahmad Hardy ended with, it's 10 more than that.
I don't, so it doesn't help me. Let's say, God, Hardy had probably 1,800. I might be way off. I'm going to say did anybody get 2,000? I'm going to say 1946.
1946. Thank you, TJ. Okay, as our director now pages Randy back in, how are you feeling after you've heard the questions?
Not great at all. The first 3, I think, were almost absolute guesses, so I'm not feeling very confident.
All right, Randy, can you hear us again?
I can hear you, sir.
You ready to do this?
Ready.
All right, question number 1. How many Division I colleges are there where the school name, not mascot, is also a color?
Okay. Division I.
That's correct. Division I.
Okay. So we've got Brown University. That would be one. Let's think about this. Not the mascot. I'm just trying to think of colors here. So, and it's just the color, right?
Just the color. That is
Okay.
correct.
This is an interesting question. I can only think of Brown. So I'll do the lifeline here.
Is it 3, 4, or 5?
Oh, man. We're probably going into like magenta and things like that. I'm trying to think of just another one. So because of that, let me just go coast to coast here and we'll see. So D1, so that'd be like all of the basketball schools, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. That like not necessarily just the Power 4 football schools. Oh man, I wish I could think of more. As you know, I'm not good with color or math.
You are colorblind. I forgot about that.
I am. I'll go with 3.
Okay. Question number 2, Randy. Who was the last AL MVP to be a switch hitter?
Oh, this is a great trivia question. And one of my son's favorite all-time players, because Patrick is a Giants fan, and Vida Blue played for the Athletics, where he won the MVP, and for the Giants. He was a big Bay Area guy, left-handed pitcher, and a very good hitter, by the way, but he didn't win the MVP because of his hitting prowess. But it was, I believe, Vida Blue, maybe 1972 with the Athletics, 73?
All right, question number 3. Peyton Manning was given the starting job at the University of Tennessee after an injury to what former professional baseball player?
Todd Helton. And Todd Helton went on to back him up for a year, actually.
And question number 4. The Blues, Randy, haven't won a lot of games this season, but who currently leads the team in game-winning goals?
They have not won many. I'm going to play the chalk here because he always seems to be involved when they win a game. I'm going to go with Schenner, Braden Shen.
Braden Shen, okay. And the tiebreaker, just in case, Randy, Jacksonville State running back Cam Cook led all rushers in yards this season with how many? And here's a hint for you. If you know what Ahmad Hardy ended with, it's 10 more than that.
Oh, okay. I don't know exactly what Hardy ended with, but he did break Devin West's record, did he not? Became the Mizzou all-time single-season rushing leader, I believe. Maybe not. But West had like 1,800, and I don't think he had that many. So I'm going to go with Cook finishing with 16-20.
16-20. Thank you, Randy. All right, fellas, let's go back through the answers and see if TJ can steal the belt away from Randy. Question number 1 was, how many Division I colleges are there where the school name, not mascot, is also a color? You both said 3. The answer is 5.
Wow.
So you have Navy, Brown, Sienna, Bowling Green, and Auburn.
Bowling.
I was never getting Sienna.
Yeah. Well, and I asked if there were other, like Bowling Green, that's not a color.
So I looked it up, and it actually is a variation. It's a new color or something like that. So you know how there's like a million colors now where you can just say whatever. Like mac and cheese is a color in the crayon
Randy,
box.
is that the hardest question you've ever been asked on this game? I mean, come on, what is that?
It's not the hardest, it's the stupidest.
Ah, see? You know what? Don't blame the questions.
So, and by the way, navy is not a color. Blue, it's navy blue. It's navy is not a color. Navy blue is a color. It's,
You're
navy is
getting
a
kind of
shade
cute
of
with
blue.
this, Andrew. You know, it's a little cute question. I don't know. The Navy, I'm with you, Randy. I don't know.
Hey, just because you guys got it wrong, don't blame me.
Yeah, well, I think we need to ask the person that put the question together. It's ridiculous.
I'll tell you what, I take questions from everywhere. So I like that question. And you know what? The next trivia night you guys both go to, and that's a question, and you get it right, then come back and talk to me.
Sienna's not a color.
That's not going to happen.
All right, question number 2. Who was the last AL MVP to be a switch hitter? TJ, you were very confident. You said Mo Vaughn, and you're like, I don't know if he's a switch hitter. And Randy, you went with one of your son's favorite players. It's Vida Blue. Is that how you pronounce it?
Vida Blue, yep.
Vida Blue, and I mispronounced it to start. Vida Blue is the answer, TJ. And to Randy's point, and I think you were right on point, maybe 1 year off. 1971 was when he won AL MVP, and he also was a phenomenal pitcher. You hit that right on the head. Okay, question number 3. Randy up 1-0. Peyton Manning was given the starting job at the University of Tennessee after an injury to what former professional baseball player? You both said Todd Helton, and you both are correct. So we go to question 4. And if TJ gets this right, we go to a tiebreaker. If not, if it's any of the other 2 and Randy's right, he wins. The Blues haven't won a lot of games this season, but who currently leads the team in game-winning goals? Randy, you said Braden Shen. That was an answer choice. TJ, you went with Justin Falk. The answer is Justin Falk. We go to a tiebreaker. And that tiebreaker question is, Jacksonville State running back Cam Cook led all rushers in yards this season with how many? And I gave you a hint. If you knew how many Ahmad Hardy ended with, it was 10 more than that. TJ said 1946. And if Randy was right and say Ahmad Hardy broke Devin West's record, TJ probably wins this thing. But Randy went with 16-20, if I'm correct?
Correct.
All right, the answer, fellas, is 16:59. Randy only off by 39 yards.
Wow.
He's been nailing these tiebreakers, TJ. I don't know how he does it. He is the winner and keeps the belt for 18 straight weeks. TJ, any last words?
I got to tip my cap, sir. The best of all time. I hope I can be back sometime and get some better questions. That first question. Come on, Andrew. Let's go.
Just because you have an Auburn wall behind you and you're wearing the color sienna, don't get mad at me.
Yeah. And great
Thank you,
effort,
guys. Appreciate
TJ.
it.
Great to have you with us.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Randy, awesome job as always. He keeps that belt. And what are we chasing now, Randy? You said 24 is the record? 26 is the record?
I don't even know. I'll find out.
All right, we're going to find that out. And maybe the next guest will take down Randy here in the fight.
And if you would like to participate in the fight, just go to matrixmidwest.com and fill out the form, and we'll get in touch with you, and hopefully you'll be able to come and play against me. We record at about 8:05 Tuesday mornings and run this usually on our Thursday show.
Did you find out what the record is?
Yeah, I think it is 24.
24. All right, we're chasing 25.
Yeah.
Quarter of a century, man.
Pretty good. Let's see if we can keep it up. Let's see if we can avoid those Bowling Green type questions.
Do you hear this, Randy? I'm playing the world's smallest violin.
Oh, okay.
You also won!
Yeah. Coming up in the list, Coco Gauff got mad at the Australian Open. What made us the maddest in sports? That's next in the fight. Hey, we're getting towards Valentine's Day, and I want you to make sure that you take care of your heart on the day of the heart. It's really important that if you feel any chest pain at all, guys, whatever age you are, that you make sure that you get in touch with the cardiac department at St. Luke's. They have an incredible staff there. Their doctors and nurses and rehab people are the best in the business, and they have an affiliation with the Cleveland Heart and Vascular Center. The Cleveland Clinic has state-of-the-art work, and that's what St. Luke's is working with. I had my heart work done at St. Luke's when I had a cardiac event, and I can't tell you how great they were. The bedside manner, the expertise, and the technology are just unbelievable. So if you have any chest pain at all that lingers, or if you feel like, okay, I just need to get this checked out, head to St. Luke's, and they're easy to get in touch with. You can go to stlukes-stl.com or give them a call. Their phone number, 314-205-6801. That's where I went for my cardiac work, and you should go there too. St. Luke's. It is time for the list, and these are sports events that gave us blackout rage. We're going to take a look at Coco Gauff here after she lost at the Australian Open on Tuesday. And she banged her racket on the ground here in just a moment, and she banged it on the ground. It looks very calm here, but then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Bad racket, bad racket.
Yeah, it was the racket's fault.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 7 times. I
Stupid
wonder if she
racket.
did break it. So that made us think, what made us really mad as sports fans? And I'm going to start with my number 3, Andrew. And I've gone back to my childhood a lot this week, and it wasn't really a good childhood, except for some of these things. I don't know why, but when I was 15, during the 1977 NFL season, the football Cardinals had a shot at making the playoffs for the 3rd time in 4 years. Got off to a bad start, went on a winning streak, and they played the Redskins with both teams at 7-5 in December. In the 4th quarter of that game, Washington extended their 19-13 lead with this Mike Thomas touchdown with 11:02 to go. This is a backup running back for them. Mike Thomas scores, okay? So it's 26-13. And sure, these were the cardiac Cardinals, but I was steaming, sitting in my family room. Now, my dad smoked when I was a kid, and we had this massively thick yellow ashtray on the coffee table in the family room. And I smoldered for a while, and I went and turned off the TV. There's a commercial on, and finally grabbed that ashtray, walked to the bottom of the steps, and winged that ashtray up the steps, putting a big dent in the wall at the top of the steps. And that dent stayed there, by the way, for a while. My father was watching the game in the kitchen, not as mad as me, and he said, "Did you see that?" Right after I had thrown that ashtray up the steps. And by that, he meant this, the next play from scrimmage in this game. Jim Hart, the quarterback, and the cardiac Cardinals, they always did this. They always came back in the 4th quarter. And Hart is going to drop back, and he is going to find number 21, Terry Metcalf, and watch Terry Metcalf. He was Marshall Faulk before Marshall Faulk. And Metcalf is going to race to the end zone and make it a 26-20 game. And we're thinking, okay, midway through the 4th quarter, Cardinals are going to win this game. No. But I didn't see it. That was the last score of the game, 26-20. That was really the end of Air Coryell here in St. Louis. Dashed the Big Reds' playoff hopes. After the game, Coryell told a columnist here in St. Louis, "I don't want to coach in St. Louis anymore. My wife doesn't like it here." So that was the end of Air Coryell. I went from angry to despondent. Then the next week, Tampa Bay beat the Cards for their first ever home win, 2nd year of an expansion team. And it was just, I remember that day vividly. Even now, all these years later, and let's see, we are 48 years later,
Wow.
and I still remember vividly picking up that ashtray and throwing it up the steps.
Now tell me about this ashtray for a moment. Did the ashtray shatter when you threw it upstairs?
No, it was a big, thick. It was a half-inch round. It was about this big, maybe 6 inches across. It was a half-inch thick on the sides. I don't know what do you call that it's made of. Yeah, it was like a ceramic thing. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
It must have been made in the USA.
And it
Not
survived.
China.
The ashtray survived. The wall did not. The Cardinals did not.
Well, did your dad get mad that you put a dent in the wall?
I don't think they realized it for a long time. They just thought something fell, and then finally, at some point, like weeks later, somebody said, "How did this dent show up in the wall?"
I love how they just said they just sensed that somebody fell, probably heard it, but no one was concerned. No one ran to the wall.
Well, yeah, I don't think my mom was home, and we were focused on that football team.
Sure.
So I can see how somebody would not hear the big bang.
So you
at
were
the top of the
angry.
street.
You turned the TV back on, and then you stayed angry because nothing else happened.
Right. Yeah. Well, and Hart, with 1:04 to go, Hart throws an interception into the end zone from like the 23-yard line.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Now you were
It would have won the
fuming.
game. Yeah.
You're like
I had used up all my anger by that point.
You're like what's the new movie on Disney with the anger emotion, fire coming out of the head?
Right, that was me.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, my number 3 now. I don't know if I was that mad for this moment, but I was still raging a bit. And I mean, raging mad, not raging and partying. I'll start with Matt Rule's first game at Nebraska, Randy. I was so pro and still am pro Rule, and I think he's the best coach for the job at Nebraska. But when he first arrived, it just felt different. It felt relaxed, having a guy that wanted to be there and a proven track record of success at building up programs. So a lot of hype entering week 1. The Huskers were in control too, even though it was a low-scoring game. A win on the road in Rule's first year, that would reignite the fan base. However, the same old Huskers showed out in the end, the team that can't close football games. A turnover with 5 to play here. Then, on 4th and 10, 8th and Callie McManus, actually from my wife's hometown, threw a touchdown pass on 4th and 10. But you know what? It's fine, right, Randy? There's time left on the clock, and you can lead and get a field goal, right? Mm-hmm. Well, you can't kick a field goal if you turn the football over. Again!
Oh, no.
Another interception, that one by Jeff Sims, and Minnesota comes all the way back to win the football game, and it felt like Groundhog Day.
Oh, man.
Living the same nightmare over and over again.
That is anger and despondence, right?
Both.
Oh, man. But has your anger subsided?
Not really.
From that game? Okay.
Maybe from that game. This team, I mean, every year, Randy,
Yep.
and I know I drink the Kool-Aid, but every year I'm like, 8 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins. Let's get to double-digit wins. And then all of a sudden, they lose a game they shouldn't. And that happens every single year with Nebraska.
All right, my number 2, and there's nothing that elicits emotion like Stanley Cup playoff hockey. Blues and Blackhawks in the playoffs, April 19th, 2014. One of those days where I gave a thought to going down and punching an athlete that I was covering. That athlete was Brent Seabrook. This creep. Well, look what he does to David Backus. Has no respect for human life whatsoever. What a cheap shot. Seabrook is just an evil, horrible human being. And unfortunately, he has 3 Stanley Cups. And then, let's listen to this towards the end as this unfolds here.
He goes down again. Oh, boy.
This is really bad.
He
Okay?
is really wobbly.
1 second here.
We got to get Backus off the ice.
No doubt.
Ooh,
There you go.
I heard that.
That's Brent Seabrook yelling "wakey, wakey" Backus after he had just concussed him. Just an awful human being. Someone should have swung a stick at his head, right?
Yeah.
And just knocked him out. Brutal. And I was so mad. I got really mad at Brian Marchment back in the day, but this was even worse because if there's one thing in hockey with these sticks and with the boards, there should be respect for the health and well-being of your opponents, of your comrades, of your union members, right? No respect whatsoever on the part of Brent Seabrook.
If I were on that St. Louis Blues team, I would share seats with my own teammates in the penalty box. I would be sitting on top of teammates after, whether it's you're going after Brent Seabrook or you're going after their best player, maybe a Jonathan Toews or Patrick Kane or whoever. Maybe I'm running through Corey Crawford in net, and all of a sudden the Blackhawks look a lot different as the games go on. But yes, you're 100% right. He is. The cheap shot was insane. I didn't like him. I didn't like Duncan Keith. I didn't like a lot on that Blackhawks team.
I'm with you. I still harbor ill will towards that group.
Okay, my number 2. And I still don't know if I'm over this Elite 8 game from 2023. Creighton chasing its first ever Final Four appearance and only needs to get by SDSU to do it. It's probably the best chance they might ever have to get to a Final Four. And this was a hard-fought battle, very physical game. Remember that, not a lot getting called. And nothing grinds my gears more than an official taking the spotlight and not letting game dictate game. Unless it's egregious, unless you're tackling somebody. Let the ball do the talking. And Mr. Zebra blew the whistle with essentially zeros on the clock here. He couldn't even see what he called. He had a terrible angle at this, and he just saw the player fall. And when you slow it down, could you say that there was contact? Sure. But no official calls the game in slow motion, and if we are calling that, then every other piece of this game should have been called. Everybody should have fouled out by this point because hand contact on the jersey was not called at all. But here it was an instant whistle, and this is how the game ended. I was fuming. As you can see, I'm still fuming, reliving this moment. I wore my ref jersey, Randy, on air the next day. That game should have been decided in OT, and that's where I rest with it.
That is awful. I hate when officials, especially when it's a big game, when officials determine the outcome of a game.
100%. 100%.
All right, my number 1, and you talk about long-lasting impact. This has had long-lasting impact on me and long-lasting impact on our town. November 11th, 1984, the 7-4 Cowboys in town to play the 6-5 Cardinals in the Big Red Rally from a 17-7 halftime deficit to tie the game at 17. Less than 2 minutes left in the third quarter. The Cardinals with all the momentum against the Cowboys, 2nd and 13 from the Dallas 39. All right, Neil Lomax having a spectacular year, passed for 4,614 yards this year to Roy Green, touchdown! And the Cardinals take the lead by a score of 23-17. Oh, no, they don't. Oh, my God. What's going on here? Okay, it's a 39-yard touchdown pass? Well, maybe it's not. A phantom offensive pass interference call by back judge Pat Millett. Watch this. You got an ISO on Roy Green here. Watch Roy Green in the slot there. Tell me if this is offensive pass interference. Here's John Madden. Let's listen to John Madden.
Not on him. He was beyond ball if he did hit him. I don't see that as being offensive thing. I just see that as getting his shoulder beyond him.
Oh, my God.
Is football a physical sport, Randy?
Yeah. Well, come on. There's no way that could have been pass interference. So I've never forgot the name of Pat Millett, who passed away, and don't rest in peace. All of a sudden, momentum switched to the Cowboys, who got a fourth quarter touchdown and won the game 24-17. And I'm still mad about this one. As our friend Bob Ramsey would say, that's the worst call I've ever seen. And here are the long-range effects. The Cardinals finished 9-7 that year, one game out of a playoff spot. They were red hot at the end of the season. If that call isn't made, if that correct call is made, that there's no pass interference, the Cardinals have the lead and probably win that game. And at least they get to the playoffs, if not win some playoff games. Jim Hanifin went to his grave thinking that the Cardinals that year were good enough to win the Super Bowl because they owned the Bears defense at that time, and he thought they could play with Bill Walsh's 49ers. It was after that season that Bill Bidwill first publicly asked for a new stadium. I would argue that the excitement over being in the playoffs that year would have swayed the powers that be to build Bidwill a football stadium. And the franchise would have never left. Thanks, Pat Millett, for costing us a team. Jerk.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
I'll never get over that.
I'm trying to get over it, and I didn't even witness that event happen.
Man. So many years later, like 10 years ago, I had Roy Green on a radio show and said, hey, do you remember that play? And he said, oh, man, I can't believe you brought that up. You just ruined my day. And then he told me the whole story. After the game, Everson Walls came up to him and literally apologized. He said, man, I'm sorry. I know that if there was any interference at all, it was on me. It definitely wasn't on you. Well, that doesn't do any good. But it was just a horrific call with horrific results.
Yeah, that's me saying, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me.
And by the way, thanks to my friend Bob Underwood. Follow Big Red STL on socials. Bob helped me out with the St. Louis Football Cardinal highlights here. He's a great guy. And if you follow St. Louis Football Cardinals or Big Red STL on all the socials, you'll see all kinds of cool highlights like that. And some of them will make you depressed.
Shout out Bob. And
Thanks, Bob.
Randy, when I was looking for my number 1, I thought about Armando Galarraga when he had his perfect game blown.
Huh?
Right, it did, because I'm just like, wait a a second here. And that, I mean, that's why we have replay now in baseball. I thought about even the Rams-Saints non-PI call in that playoff game, but there was one that really struck me so deep. And I don't think I've ever gone to social media quite like I did when the Sharks won Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals via a hand pass. In overtime, Sharks forward Timo Meier swatted the puck with his hand to his teammate Gustav Nyquist, who then passed to Erik Karlsson for the winning goal. The officiating crew did not see the hand pass in real time, and under the rules at the time, this specific play was not eligible for video review or a coach's challenge. We all were Braden Shen in the moment when the officials walked off the ice, or I should say skated off the ice. He smacked the glass with his stick so close to the officials' heads. Us as fans wanted some contact to be made there. Probably if that was us, we would hit the leg of the official. But what made it worse is that the NHL came out after this and admitted they missed the call. Just take that to your grave. Now we tend to forget about it because it didn't decide the series. The Blues still won the Stanley Cup, but I'll always remember the arguments I got in with random hockey fans that night on Twitter.
Okay, so it was awful, but I will never forget going into the dressing room, and I have a really good relationship with Alex Pietrangelo. The other players were, they were saying, hey, we'll get him tomorrow, and it was all good. But Petro's really honest, and so I kind of pressed him. And finally he said, Randy, what do you want me to say? Because Berube had said, hey, we're going to move on, and we're going to win this thing. Don't worry about this. It happened, but we're looking ahead. We're not looking behind. Amy Marks-Kors from Offsides Hockey here on Matrix Midwest was standing next to me, and I leave Petro, and she said, the Blues are going to win this series. And she was exactly right because of the way they treated the dressing room afterwards, not worrying about the past, only concerning themselves with the future. Amy, congrats, you were exactly right.
Still bogus.
That was a horrible call. Okay, I am not settled down. I'm not. We're going to build a parlay next in the fight. All right, it is time now to build a little parlay on risky business. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant is quietly having a really nice season for the Houston Rockets. They are hosting the Spurs, who are awesome, with Victor Wembanyama. They are great. This
really
is
game.
An epic Western Conference Texas battle. And the Rockets are favored by 2.5, as great as they are. And the fact that San Antonio's on the road, Wemby.
All right.
I'm going to go with Wemby and the Spurs to cover that 2.5. In fact, I'm going to go with the Spurs to win that baby outright.
Oh, you want me to change it?
No, I'll go with
Leave it? Okay, then we'll play it safe with that one.
Yeah.
All right, mine, Randy, is going to be on the college basketball slate. I want everybody that's on DraftKings to scroll all the way to the bottom of the page. Michigan State on Friday. One of the best games on the college basketball slate. Michigan State as a home underdog in this game. I just watched Michigan struggle against Nebraska. Michigan State will win this game at home. Tom Izzo is not losing this game at home.
I like this. Let's place a bet. Put $100 on this one. We're at plus 276.
And we'll do the math ourselves. That's $276.
$276. There you go.
100.
That's our parlay here in the fight. Coming up, we've got story time with Uncle Randy. Stick around. Time for story time with Uncle Randy, and we have already spun the wheel, and we're going to be in the 2010s.
All
so
right.
that'll be fun. Now we need to come up with a sport, and we will come up with a story for you. Okay, 2010s.
Are we going basketball?
Football?
Basketball.
Basketball. 2010s basketball.
I love it.
Okay, that'll be fun. Okay, so one of the cool things that happened when Rick Majerus was the head coach at St. Louis University was they got really good. And they had a home game here against VCU, and I believe it was in 2010 or 2011. Sold out, Chaifetz Arena, and Shaka Smart was the head coach at VCU, and Rick Majerus had that St. Louis U program on the edge of greatness. And if a lot of people believe that if he would have passed away in 2012, that the Billikens would already be in the Big East, which we talked about. But anyway, this game, man, St. Louis University just played against a really talented, physical team. St. Louis U just played perfect fundamental basketball, and that's what Rick Majerus was all about. And they came away with a win at a sold-out arena. I think it was like a Wednesday or Thursday night game. And then everything kind of fell apart for the Billikens. After beating VCU, they go on the road and they just can't win like we expected them to be able to do. And they wound up actually having some success in the postseason tournament. I think they went to the NCAA tournament under Majerus. But I'll never forget the crowd. That was a big thing at that game against VCU. And if Majerus doesn't pass away, if he lasts a couple more years, I think St. Louis U would be looked at completely different nationally. And that was kind of his hallmark game. We talk about Dayton on Friday night for Josh Schertz. That VCU game at home was the hallmark game for St. Louis U under Rick Majerus.
And my favorite part of that story is the crowd, like you just brought up, because now SLU is dancing in the same crowds as they used to in the stories that you're talking about when they took on VCU in, 2010, 2011?
Yep. All right, time for this date in sports history. In 1992, Brett Hull becomes the second player after Wayne Gretzky in NHL history to record back-to-back seasons of 50 goals in 50 games. How about that? 50 goals in 50 games. We aren't going to have a Blue get close. We might not have a Blue get close to 25 this year.
Oh, Jordan Kyrou for sure.
Oh, there you go. Number 50 comes in a 3-3 tie in Los Angeles, and Hully, just unbelievable. Of course, the great story about Brett Hull is when he stayed on the ice for about 3.5 minutes in a game in LA, tie game, and comes back to the bench after Brian Sutter called him back again and again and again. And Hully comes back to the bench and says, "We aren't going to overtime in Los Angeles." He stayed out to score the game-winning goal.
That's awesome.
And wouldn't come back. But 50 and 50. Did it twice, once against the Red Wings, and then this time against the Kings. He was a magical goal scorer, and that's why he's the best Blue ever.
Also, Colton Parayko is really close to 50, Randy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's right on the cusp
within
of getting 50.
Yeah. So, hey, we're on every day at 5 p.m., 10 p.m., and 7 a.m. And when you watch those shows, 5, 10, and 7, in real time on the app, now you see all of our highlights. So make sure that you do that. We love to have you watching right here on Matrix Midwest on TV. And when you watch those games online, all those highlights are going to be available. So it's like a whole show for you.
I know a lot of people thoroughly enjoy seeing those highlights now, and we are happy to deliver that. I also know if you're in your car and you're driving, don't watch the highlights, right? We can at least give you that PSA.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay. And we had the fight today. We want you to be able to participate in the fight against me. All you need to do is go to matrixmidwest.com, use the drop-down menu to find Carricker and Company, and then just play the fight and fill out the form. Andrew will get in touch with you. We Zoom at about noon on Tuesday, and then we air the fight on Wednesday.
And I'd be curious to see if anybody else can outdo the back wall that our friend TJ had.
that was pretty good.
And the whole setup for the fight today. I mean, that just looked professional.
I've had so many people over the years say, hey, I always wanted to get on in the fight. Well, now's your opportunity to participate in the fight against me. And if you don't want to participate in the fight, just watch it.
Or send in some questions, because apparently I struggle with writing those.
Yeah. Right. Thanks for tuning in. For Andrew Rogers and our outstanding director, Tyler Klaus, we say, take a deep breath, smell the roses, blow out the candles.
Go Blues.
Don't be angry. I'm Randy Carricker. We'll see you next time here in the fight. So long, everyone.